All right, guys, here we are at CPAC, and with me is Christian Walker
Watson.
You see, I knew I was going to get it wrong.
That's fine.
Well, I wanted you to tell us about what you're doing here at CPAC. You got some really interesting information that I think was pretty good. I believe that freedom in America is under attack.
Absolutely.
And so when you were sharing your information with me, it sounded like some of the stuff you're talking about is how freedom's under attack, but your organization is doing things to fight that, and I'd like for you to tell us about that.
So I'm the spokesperson for a group called Color Us United.
Us United?
We're a nonprofit, and our entire goal is to fight for a colorblind America.
Okay.
To fight, now not physical colorblindness, but moral colorblindness, not seeing people's identity and assigning a moral value to it, not judging someone on that basis. Basically what MLK said all those many years ago, the advice which has been discarded over the past few decades by the left in their push to invoke their new cultural revolution, essentially. And so...
But you're saying moral colorblindness.
Yes, moral colorblindness.
Now that's something unique I haven't heard before. What is, say again, what is moral colorblindness?
That's when you don't assign any value to someone's skin color or their identity.
Okay.
You look at their character instead.
Okay.
That's what it is.
I love this.
That's the vision of America, really.
Okay.
I mean, America was founded on the idea of the individual liberty, things of that sort. And so we simply just affirm that in a different form.
Now, what does your organization do?
We fight for the idea of a colorblind America.
Okay.
So we go into institutions and we advocate in the media for colorblindness.
Okay.
So typically institutions in America have been infiltrated by woke ideals, social justice ideals that are against colorblindness. Well, we fight back to get institutions to rip those ideas out, to go against those ideas. So for example, the Salvation Army, a year or so ago, was criticized for telling their members to repent for their racism, for putting out a curriculum that is about social justice.
Salvation Army did this?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
And we went to the media and we exposed it. And when we exposed it, we made the national commander of the Salvation Army pull that curriculum and say he's going to put it under review. So they stopped their behavior. We've gone after American Express, who have done similar things. And we're now going after the medical school industry for also trying to invoke political principles into the medical field.
Now, when you say go after, what are you saying? What do you mean go after?
A mixture of PR pressure and influence campaigns.
Now, I know I'm kind of going back and forth a little bit here, but it's really interesting what you guys do, and I'm trying to tie some things together so our audience can kind of stay in it. So basically, you identify corporations that or institutions that are basically promoting racism.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Well,
in various ways.
They wouldn't see it as racism.
Okay, they don't see it that way. But what other? Now, I know that CRT is a topic of today, but what CRT does, and I'm gonna be real succinct about this, is they basically teach kids that racism, basically, is that how you say that?
Well, CRT does, yes. Effectively, yes.
Okay.
I don't want to, the term racism is very unspecified. It's changed, a definition has changed so much. But yes, for all intents and purposes, racism, sure, yeah. And
the reason I'm saying it that way, because people watching the video, they might not pick up on some of the ways that you're wording it.
Yeah, sure.
So I'm trying to say it in a way that they might pick up on it more.
Sure.
But it sounds like you're going into institutions, businesses, corporations that are basically giving a pass for racism by doing it through
social justice.
Social justice.
Yes.
And you guys are basically saying, hey, I'm shining the light on this, and we're going to fight for it.
Yes.
Or fight against it. Fight against it. But fight for the people who it's affecting.
Yes.
Okay.
Because not everyone in America has the ability to speak up for fear of retaliation, losing their job, so on and so forth. So we fill in that void. We are the voices for the voiceless who are scared. The silent majority, so to speak, who are scared to speak up. Yes. Okay.
So now your organization, do people come to you if they need help, or do you all seek it out?
Sometimes a mixture of both. A lot of times we seek it out, but sometimes we get emails and people are like, my job is doing this, or this company is doing this, and this is a problem, and we look into it and we see if we take it or not. We don't chase every dog that barks, but we do chase quite a few.
I like the chase every dog that barks.
Yeah,
That's a great one. Where are y'all based out of?
North Carolina.
Okay. So now, are y'all? I guess y'all are nationwide with this.
Yes, we do national campaigns.
Y'all started in North Carolina, and now you're branching out.
Yes, we do national campaigns, but we are also in North Carolina as well.
What's the website again?
ColorUsUnited.org.
ColorUsUnited.org.
Yep.
And what about CRT? Are y'all doing anything against CRT in the schools?
We're not involved in the schools very much. We focus on institutions because there are a lot of good organizations that are fighting against stuff in the schools. Moms for Liberty is one.
Right.
So we don't really go in that territory.
And not only that, but a lot of those mom groups, but a lot of people now running for school board.
Sure, yeah.
To fight. Do you ever help anybody in the school board races?
No, we can't.
You're strictly institutions.
We're nonprofit, so we can't.
Okay.
We can't do that.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Part of the reason I'm asking, I'm trying to see how broad the brush is.
Yeah. So basically, we go to institutions that really influence the culture, and we try to change them.
Okay.
We believe that medical schools, which are incubators for future doctors, really impact Americans. Because Americans, when they go in the doctor's office, they want to know that what they're getting the best quality patient care possible, and not something presented to them by social justice activists.
It's interesting you say that because medical school should only be focusing on medicine and human health and not politics.
But unfortunately, a lot of medical schools, at the behest of the accrediting agencies, the AAMC and the AMA, are doing the opposite.
And they're teaching ideologies more than they're teaching medicine.
Absolutely.
And you all are fighting against that.
That's a problem, yes. So it's a nationwide problem, but we're focusing on North Carolina because we have pull there, and also the institution that is doing it, the UNC North Carolina, they are a public university that is subject to state funds. So there is more than enough room for intervention there.
Do you think that what you are fighting, or this encroachment, on through indoctrination, I guess we'll put it, is that hurting our freedom in America? And how is it hurting our freedom in America?
The ideas of social justice presume the collective over the individual. The individual is the basis of freedom. Okay. Anyone who does not presume the individual when they talk about freedom is not talking about freedom whatsoever.
Okay.
And that's really it's very simple. If you presume the collective or the group over the individual, you, by definition, reject freedom.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So what you're doing here by fighting the corporations, fighting these institutions, you're saying, hey, when you to the medical school, maybe you're indoctrinating people of social justice, or some business, you're indoctrinating people on social justice, and that is collectivizing, if that's the right way to put it, more and more people, which gets rid of the individual, which gets rid of personal rights and personal freedoms.
Of course. That's the base. Look, freedom is just the capacity to act. That's all it is. And the American founders understood this, which is why they said you had the right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Well, your right to liberty is your right to act. No one can take that away from you. It's something that's inherent to you as a human being. If someone takes that away, you have no more life, you have no more property, you cease to exist.
Right.
And when you have a fundamentally different moral framework than the right to liberty, you don't have freedom anymore.
And this is what you are fighting. So in essence, you are not only fighting against the social justice, we'll say, but you're also fighting for freedom for the individual.
Absolutely.
You're amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate your time.
Appreciate it.
You're amazing. And once again, what's that website again?
ColorUsUnited.org.
ColorUsUnited.org. Everybody, please go visit that. And we'll be up here with our next interview here in just a minute. Thank you so much.